So the journey continues in unlearning falsehood and opening the door to learning what is true. So some food for thought for you guys today. I have been working on something quite big, as always. But yeah, I think I need a break from that, so I'm going to delay it a little bit. And I thought I'd get something short out for you guys today. So yeah, it is something on a more positive note, or something that hopefully provides more answers, giving a big picture. But anyway, more on that when that eventually does come, inshallah. So I hope you guys are doing well. Salamun alaikum. Peace to all of yous. Yeah, this journey continues. It doesn't end. And yeah, I hope you're, depending on who you are, I hope you're able to handle some of the recent videos that are definitely paradigm, well, in fact this channel has always been paradigm shifting anyway, so nothing new there. Nothing new there. But anyway, just something short for you guys on, yeah, this, as you can see, things changed from around this point with this picture here that you can see. Trying to read the Quran for what Allah is actually saying when you're looking at these opposites or things mentioned together, you know, in tandem together as a qualifier for what has just been mentioned. So one of the first ones was me speaking of this slide here, Salati, so Salati wa Nusuki, and I was questioning, is Salat the opposite of Nusuk? That was my first question before I dove deeply, and yeah, was reminded of what that conversation with Dr. Mazid already confirmed for me. But such is the nature of man, human beings, mankind, men and women. Such is the nature that we forget. And so much of what I just listened to, even in Dr. Mazid's conversations with Sheikh Omar Baluch, it was just confirming everything that has been learned through studying the Quran. It was just confirming everything that was said there. So you can find the truth in the world which really and truly matches the truth which is in the Quran. That's how this goes. If you go one way, if you try to study the Quran, you'll figure out what the truth is, what Allah is saying, and then you'll find that in the world actually taking place. Or vice versa. Some people will learn the truth that is outside, for real, the reality, you know, outside in the world, and then they come to the Quran and then they find, oh, this is all confirming everything. So this is what it is to be a true believer, a secure, confident believer, to know what the truth is, regardless of whether you know Arabic or not, regardless of whether you even know this Quran or not. To be honest with you, I think, yeah, there are people who are on the truth even without this Quran. I do think so. But I think it's here to save those who are being manipulated, have been fooled. Anyway, I'm already moving away from the topic. So it began here, Salat, Nusuk. So I was questioning, is Salat the opposite of Nusuk? So it was, yeah, when I came to this point that I thought, okay, it's safe now to go into Salah, because Salah is the opposite of turning away. And so you can see that when people say that connection, yeah, you're turning away from Allah, you're turning away from any connection, any contact, you're turning away from any possibility of you having a union with Allah. So in that sense, that's what Salah is. Salah. فَلَا صَدَّقَ وَلَا صَلَّى وَلَكِنْ كَذَّبَ وَتَوَلَّى. This really has opened up a lot of doors. So I'm coming back to this. This is why I'm here today, because I'm coming back to this Saddaqa, because I was trying to distinguish between Al-Mukhlisin or Ikhlas. So As-Sadiqeen, Al-Mukhlisin. Most people will say, yeah, sincere and honest. Sincere and honest. Sadiq is someone who's honest. But just trying to pinpoint what these are specifically defined as, because they're close, they're definitely together, being from amongst as-sadiqeen as well as being amongst from al-mukhlisin. They're very close. Sincerity and honest, they're both, yeah, synonyms, they're synonymous. But here clearly the opposite of saddaqa is being mentioned here as kadhaba. So the opposite of kadhaba, lying or denying the truth, is being saddaqa, which is affirming the truth, being sincere, affirming the truth. So he was not sincere affirming the truth, and not he made union, not he made salah, but he lied, denied, and turned away. So the opposite of salat is turning away. So whatever definition people like to give to salat, it has to be the opposite of turning away. And that's why I've said union, because union is you making some kind of connection, a joining relationship with Allah. The opposite of salat is turning away from one's union, a joining relationship with Allah. So this is salat. This could be salat. This could be salat. It could be many things. Before we go into Al-Ikhlas and Al-Mukhlisin, just always keep in mind the birds know their salat, and Allah and His Malaika are not praying upon the Nabi. Just some things to keep in mind. Yeah, on the Sadaqah. So if you look here in the Corpus Quran, so they will say true. So Sadaqah is being true. As I've said, the opposite of Kadhaba, lying, denying the truth, is Sadaqah. But it's not. But to get to the exact nature of what Sadaqah is, it's not wrong. It is about truth. It's about validating the truth. It's about affirming the truth. So if you look at this, it is known that to be Sadaqah is to be sincere as well. Sincerity. And not he was sincere, or not he showed sincerity, and not he made Sallah. Walakin kadhaba wa tawalla. So it does work. And not he was sincere, or not he showed sincerity. As-sadiq, honesty. So you can see that this sadaqah is something about sincerity, honesty, and being authentic. Musadiq, being authentic. So you can get an idea of what this word is. Sadaqah, sadiq. Sincere, honest, authentic. And it is connected to charity, giving a sadaqah. So I think we can agree that it's only those who are authentic, those who are honest, those who are sincere, these are the ones who do give charity. Well, not the only ones, but generally speaking, to give charity is to be one of these types of characters: sincere, honest, authentic. So because as-sadiqeen is synonymous with al-mukhlisin, they're very close, but in trying to understand exactly what each of them are, because they're obviously two different words, so they mean two different things. So it does seem to be the case that as-sadiqeen is about sincerity, about honesty, about authenticity. It definitely seems to be about that, and charity. So therefore, what is al-mukhlisin? For those who are new to this, for those who are new listening, this is very important, because this is the only group of people that get salvation. This is the only group of people that get to be saved at the end of the day. For those who are not familiar with this passage, so it repeats throughout the Quran this conversation between Iblis and Allah, for when he refused to validate the creation of Adam. He refused to give any credit to the creation of Adam. He refused to approve the creation of Adam. So after he refuses, after he rejects, after he denies, after he shows arrogancy, after all of this, and after the rest of the malaik, after the rest of them giving validation, giving all credit to this creation that Allah created, approving of it, after this takes place, then this conversation is repeated a few times, but the main point I'm making here is that Allah says that you'll be able to take all of them, because He swears that He's going to take everyone, He's going to take all of mankind. But Allah swears that there's a small group of people that He won't be able to take, and that is al-mukhlisin. Al-mukhlisin. That's why I'm looking at this today, because it's been on my mind, looking at sujood, looking at all of these things that are connected, sirat al-mustaqim as well, the straight path. So this conversation that is repeated a number of times throughout the Quran, the one thing that is clear is that there is this small group of people that Iblis won't be able to take. Allah swears by this, and so does Iblis, that all except the Al-Mukhlisin. All except Al-Mukhlisin. So who are these? Because as you can see here, they've said chosen. So we know that Ikhlas is not about chosen. We know that Mukhlis, Al-Mukhlisin, is not about chosen. So what is this? And as they say sincere here, and here they've said chosen. So chosen is very, very bad, very poor. Sincere, as I've just shown you, the sincere seems to be attached to being sadiq, the opposite of, saddaqa, that's the opposite of lying, denying. So if that's the case, then what is this mukhlisin, al-ikhlas? So as far as I've seen, so if you think about Surah Al-Ikhlas as well at the very end, Surah 112, right at the very end of the Quran, very powerful surah. Also one of the surahs that really attracts people to the Quran, this oneness, this simplicity. So this is the only mention of Ikhlas as far as I'm aware throughout the whole Quran, and that is this surah at the very end. So if this is the surah defining in these four short verses, if this is the surah defining what Ikhlas is, and it ultimately is, people will agree it's about one. So there, really and truly, there we have the answer, if you think about it. So this is the story of mankind from the very beginning, that Adam was created, and all of them, like, they validated this creation, they approved, they gave credit, they gave credit to it, they approved it, they validated it. They were not arrogant. Whereas Iblis was arrogant, and he did not validate, he did not approve, he did not give any credit. He thought he was better. So when this happens, this story about all of mankind going to hell with him, except the chosen, well, not the chosen ones, except Al-Mukhlisin. So in trying to understand that, it does seem to be that this surah is actually making the point very clearly. It's all about those who stick to one. Those who stick to one. Al-Ikhlas, this surah, as I've said, is 4 short verses, which I mentioned recently in a video. But this really and truly brings home the point. It's about the person who sticks to the one book, the one source, the one judge, the one guide, the one everything, the one master, the one shahada as well, actually, the shahada for one. So this really and truly does bring home the point. I'm not judging anyone here. I'm just studying. I'm not judging anyone who's doing different. I'm just studying here. So that's al-ikhlas. That is what they say is sincerity, but in my opinion, I think it's actually dedicated. I think it's those who are devoted and dedicated, which is a form of sincerity. That's why they're synonymous. If a person is devoted or dedicated, they are all of these things. They are sincere, they are honest, they are authentic. They are the type to give charity. So they are synonymous, but just trying to get to the specific of what this is. It seems to be Surah Al-Ikhlas. It's telling us what is it to be Al-Mukhlisin, from amongst Al-Mukhlisin, those who seem to be devoted, dedicated to this one, Ahad, one. Could be. Just food for thought for you guys. So this surah should help us understand Surah Al-Ikhlas, what it means to be from amongst Al-Mukhlisin. That should help. It's all about one, everything. And in trying to understand Mukhlisina Lahuddin, so this word is also used with the deen, Mukhlisina Lahuddin. So again, as you see, this is closer to me, in my opinion, loyal to what Ikhlas actually is. This is closer to the truth, because what is loyal? Showing firm, constant support or allegiance to a person or institution. This is closer to the truth. What Ikhlas seems to be is devotion, dedication, loyalty, showing firm and constant support or allegiance to a person. So that's Mukhlisina. So in this case, in this verse, Allah's talking about and invoke and call upon Allah. Call upon Allah being dedicated or devoted to him, for him, in the debt. So this deen, yeah, is our debt. Everyone's on some kind of debt. Is it the correct debt to be recompensed on the day of debt? Is it on the right debt, or is it on the wrong debt? Is it on the right deen, or is it on the wrong deen? So everyone's on a debt. So what is Allah saying? And call upon him, dedicated or devoted to him, for him, in the debt. So what is it to be dedicated? Dedicated is, as you can see here, devoted to a task or a purpose. So as you saw that they translated it here, devoted. They translated mukhlisin as devoted, very loving or loyal. So you can see loyal is pretty close as well. So what is dedicated? Devoted to a task or a purpose. We can understand this better, that Iblis will be able to take all except those who are devoted or dedicated to Allah, for Allah alone as one, in his deen, the debt of Allah, one. And the opposite of that is mukhlisin. So if mukhlisin is to be devoted, dedicated, loyal, so this might also help understand what is it to be al-mukhlisin. The opposite is indifferent, apathetic. Sounds very bad. I think people who follow this channel or study the Quran will know exactly whom Allah is speaking of. Having no particular interest or sympathy, unconcerned. That seems to be the majority, right? They're not really interested. They don't really sympathize with what is the absolute truth. What is Allah exactly saying? That might be different to the majority, what they're saying. That might be taught by the scholars. They don't have any sympathy for it. They're unconcerned. They're indifferent at the very least. Yeah, they couldn't care either way. Just follow. Just trust the, as they used to say, just trust the science. Just trust the doctors. Just trust all of the institutions and all of the leaders of these institutions. Just trust them. Otherwise, I'm not really bothered whether you can prove to me whether this is true or not. Not really bothered now. Unconcerned. Yep. So that's the opposite of ikhlas. So hopefully that should help a person understand what is it to be dedicated. We are concerned. We do care. We really do. Let me go back to that again. Having no particular interest or sympathy. We are interested. We're very interested. We are very concerned. So that's the opposite. That is what it is to be amongst al-mukhlisin. To have a lot of sympathy. Be very concerned. I can tell you now, it's very difficult to do this, but I can see now why as I'm speaking about it, because it's very important. So again, if al-mukhlisin are the only group of people that Iblis cannot take, so what's the opposite? It seems those who are apathetic, they show or feel no interest, no enthusiasm. They're not concerned. Should get the idea. Apathy, in a world of nihilism and apathy. Don't really care. Just tell me what to believe. Just tell me who to follow. So back to al-mukhlisin, Iblis. This is the only group. This conversation takes place several times, and it's very important. This is our true history. This is our true history. This is the very beginning of our true history. And what is it that he said in this story? That he's going to take all of them with him, except al-mukhlisin. So it's very important. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I was reciting today, and so I came across two mentions. This mukhlisin lahuddin. I was reciting Surah 7, Surah Al-A'raf, a very important surah. So mukhlisin lahuddin. So be devoted, dedicated, loyal for him, to him, in the true debt. That's what that is. So that's one of the verses I recited today. I'll come to the last one at the end. So they say devoted, and yes, that's pretty close in this case. In this case translation, I'd say dedicated. Until, what do they say in Arabic as well? Those who know khalas, those who speak Arabic, they've all been taught, they've all been brainwashed as well, most of them, that your Arabic that you've been taught is not the same Arabic as the one that is in the Quran. they'll find that, yeah, a lot of what they know in Arabic is actually in the Quran. So khalas, enough, finished, done, stop. So that's what dedication, devotion, loyalty is, to the end. To the end. It makes sense. To the end. To the very end. So hopefully this helps some of you guys, which clearly there's going to be moments where you're feeling very low, feeling very lost, had enough of everything. That is it. That is to be human. But hopefully this can help. That it is about loyalty. It is about dedication, devotion to the end. Mukhlisina lahuddin. Devoted, dedicated, loyal to him, for him, in the true debt, the debt of Allah. That's what that is. Yeah, if you look for these translations, you will find dedicated, mukhlis. You'll find, so yeah, khalasu, they are done. So you will find that this is all about something to do with, dedication until you are done, until the end. Until your destination has been shown to you, until deliverance, until you are delivered to one destination or the other. Khalas, enough, as I just showed you here. Enough, finished, done, stop. As it says here, look, salvation, deliverance. So you can get an idea. It is about dedication. Sincerity doesn't really help us understand this, but when you think of dedication, loyalty, devotion until the end, until you reach salvation, until you reach deliverance. Makes sense? Khalas, enough, done. Good riddance to this test, this world. One day, inshallah. Yeah. So hopefully that helps you guys. The deen. Okay, lastly then. So this final verse that I recited today. إِنَّ الَّذِينَ عِنْدَ رَبِّكَ لَا يَسْتَكْبِرُونَ عَنْ إِبَادَتِهِ وَيُسَبِّحُونَهُ وَلَهُ يَسْجُدُونَ. So when I'm working on some of these big projects, it gets quite heavy, weighty, but sometimes it's good to just take out some of those pieces from there and put them for you here now. So I have already studied a large portion of sujood as well as a large portion of salat, but I can't always finish all of these. But just to finish off for today, so this final verse in Surah Al-A'raf that I recited, so this was the final verse that took my attention as well. So again, if we think about Iblis, who showed kibr, he was arrogant, he thought he was bigger, and Allah swears that he's actually one of the smaller ones. He's smaller. So inna alladhina inda rabbika la yastakbiruna an ibadatihi wa yusabbihuna wa lahu yasjudun. So in thinking about that, we stay devoted, dedicated, mukhlis, al-mukhlisin. Indeed. So what is Allah saying here? Indeed, those who with, not Lord, with your master, your Rabb. It's not Lord. So all of this is Lord and worship, yeah, it's all not right. It's all coming from a different narrative and a different culture. It's culture, it's tradition basically. So indeed, those who are with your master. So we have one master, but obviously on earth they try to create earthly masters. So indeed, those who are with your Rabb, your master, not they are arrogant. And if you think about it, there's many words in the Quran that call us to be humble. That is the opposite of arrogant. Having or revealing an exaggerated sense of one's own importance or abilities. A very tricky thing, even for myself, to remind myself. Having or revealing an exaggerated sense of one's own importance or abilities. Something for me to learn as well, or remind myself. Indeed, those who with your Rabb, not they are arrogant. Yeah, that is what ruku is. To kneel, yes, but it's a beautiful description of humbling. That is even what sujood is, validating Allah, validating Allah's ayat. Yeah. Saba and her people, they were not found putting their head on the ground to the sun, Although people can do that, there's no denying that people do put their head on the ground. But we have to be honest about what these words actually mean in the Quran. You can add whatever you feel is appropriate after that, or helps you. But really and truly, to kneel, what that description is it's showing how humbling he was in repentance. But people get fixated on the kneeling part. And same thing with sujood. What sujood is to give credit to Allah's ayat, to give credit to Allah who created everything. So that's what it is, to validate. If I was to give you one word, it would be validate. To validate Allah's ayat, to validate Allah's ayat in the heavens and the earth. To say, yes, Allah created all this. Yes, these verses that I'm reading in the Quran, yes, I validate them, I affirm them. This sounds right to me, this is true. That is what it is to be sincere. To read the verses as they are and not deny, not turn away, not say, bring us something other than this. No, we like it when you mention something else in tandem with this. Change this or alter this. No, that's not us. That's what others do. That's what those who are blind, deaf, dumb, arrogant. Unfortunately, it's hard to say these things. It's hard to say. I'm not judging, but it's just for ourselves, so then we can save ourselves, or we can learn truly what is in the Quran. So that's what it is. This is ultimately the way of Iblis, to turn away from Allah's ayat. Allah created Adam. That is an ayat of Allah. He turned away. Yeah, he was arrogant. He thought he was bigger. He didn't give any credit. He didn't approve. He didn't validate. That's what sujood is. So we're supposed to validate Allah. We're supposed to give credit. We're supposed to approve everything that Allah has given us, heavens and the earth, as well as within the book that we have. Because there's only one. There's only one. There's only one. So what is being said here? Everything after this mention is qualifying the opposite of arrogance. Inna alladhina inda rabbika la yastakbirun. Indeed, those who are near your master, not they are arrogant. And then we have everything else. They are not arrogant about service. So they are not arrogant about not worship. So they are not arrogant about serving him. So what do? If they're not arrogant about serving him, so what do? This is what the opposite of arrogance is. They glorify Allah. And to him they validate, they give validation. This makes sense. This is what humbling looks like, not being arrogant. This is what it looks like. They glorify Allah alone. And to him they give all credit. And to him they give all credit. What is it that Allah says? Do not give credit to the sun nor to the moon, but give credit to Allah if it is him that you serve. That's what Allah says in that verse. It's not that do not put your head down on the ground to the sun nor to the moon. It's not put your head down to the ground, and definitely not to that black box. Definitely not to that black box. The evidence is there. If it hurts, the evidence is there. It's all around the world. Definitely not face that black box. Definitely not put your head down to that black box. I have to be honest. I don't like saying this, but I have to be honest. And no, it's wrong. Once you know, you know. Even if the whole world is against you, and you know, it's important. It's very important. Never are you told to face that black box. Never are you told to put your head down onto that black box. But I'll try to keep it light today. You can be the judge. I'm just a crazy madman. You can be the judge for yourselves. I'm a nobody. Just pointing out to you exactly what makes sense, what is in this Quran and makes sense, because this is a clear, well, it's a manifest, evident book. Indeed, those who are near their Lord, near your master, not they are arrogant about serving him. It's not worship. So here's your qualifier, what that looks like. And they glorify him because they're not arrogant. They glorify Allah. And who are people busy glorifying today, by the way? Who are people busy glorifying today? Something to think about. Ikhlas 1, sincerity. Who are people busy glorifying today? Oh my God, to the point where you can't even breathe. You can't even breathe. I've always said this, that when people of the Bible came to me at my front door I was always fascinated because they would say, and God said. So my ears opened up. What did God say? Tell me, I want to know. But here today we're busy with what someone else said, with just little bits and pieces attached to that. Okay, I'll try to keep it light. Indeed, those who are near your master, not they are arrogant. This is the last verse I recited today, so this is what it's about. They are not arrogant. They are not arrogant about serving him. And what does that look like? They glorify him, and to him they give all credit. This makes sense. New ages of today, all different people today, they're obsessed with the sun, for example. They just continuously say, oh, look how powerful the sun is. Oh, look what the sun does. Oh, look at how great the sun is. Oh, the sun is out. Look how great that is. What is Allah saying? That the people of Sabah, they were found doing sujood. They were found giving all credit to the sun. They were found validating the sun. And shaitan made their deeds fair seeming to them. That sounds like the new ages of today. That sounds like the new ages of today. Credit to absolutely all of creation and all of the details about what everything does, and no credit to Allah, the one that created them all. Anyway, some food for thought for you guys. Hope you guys are well. And yeah, so finally, dedication for the dedicated to the end. Al-Ikhlas, the dedication for the dedicated. Al-Mukhlisin, to the end. Khalas.